Hey, this is Malika of Evanston Live TV, and I have with me today a special guest, Katie Tucker Trippi. She's running for Sixth Ward Alderman. Sixth Ward Alderman. It's a kind of a tongue twister. Sixth Ward Alderman. Welcome to the show, Katie.
Malika, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Yes, yes. So you and I were just talking before uh, we came on air, and I was telling you, you'd be surprised how many people have no idea what ward they are even in. So that concerns me because that means you're not going to vote. You are not going to use your power of the vote and make sure we have the right leaders in place. So you were breaking it down to me because I myself don't know the boundaries. Like I know my ward,
Sure.
and I know all the
Mm-hmm.
different wards, and I know the alderman for each
Mm-hmm.
ward, but I don't necessarily know the boundaries. So maybe if you can like educate all of us
Sure,
so that people know,
sure.
oh, that's my ward. Yeah.
So the Sixth Ward is the furthest northwest ward in Evanston. And the boundaries are basically Gulf Road on the south, Isabella on the north, although it actually, that pocket of Evanston that's called Hillside, that's also in the Sixth Ward. Then the furthest east boundary is about, I think it's Hartree, may not be as far as Hartree. Great Harvest Bread is too far east. We are a little bit west of that if you look at the Central Street markers. Pioneer is also the east boundary closer to Gulf Road. And then we go all the way west to Crawford and the Evanston, Wilmette, Skokie border.
Mm,
That's the Sixth Ward.
okay. Okay. Now the Sixth Ward it's a really nice ward.
We are home to some great parks. We have Lincolnwood and Willard School in our district. We have a great thriving Central Street business district, usually thriving, suffering a little now from the pandemic. But yeah, it's a very interesting place to live. I've lived here for 30 years. I was actually raised for part of my childhood in the Sixth Ward at Lincolnwood and Payne Street, and attended Lincolnwood School, and then moved to Southeast Evanston, where I graduated from Evanston High School and moved away from Evanston for a while, and then came back in the early 90s with 3 young children ready to start school here, and moved back to the Sixth Ward. So I've been here since then.
Mm, mm. Evanston, it's the best place on earth. I mean,
It
I've lived
is.
other places, and I tell people, I was like, Evanston really is just so comfortable here. It's clean, it's safe for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Mhm.
It's interesting. I think it's even a better place to raise children than even when I was growing up here. I just had I'm a single mom, and I had a community to help me raise my children, a community of not-for-profit organizations, school districts, people who I could lean on to serve as those adult role models in my kids' lives when they needed them. And I also have a big family that's here as well. So it's been a great community. And now, I'm in my retirement years. I haven't retired from the Y yet, but I will sometime. I've moved from a big house into a condo on Central Street. And I have to say that I had a hard time finding, and I looked in other communities, finding a place that I could afford to live, knowing that I wanted to be here for the rest of my life. And I can imagine, I had the privilege of that house and having the proceeds of that sale. I know how hard it is for people to be able to stay in Evanston after raising their families here. And I think that is so important. It's also important that we be affordable so that our kids can afford to live here. because they do want to come back. Evanston seems to be a place that people come back to. I'm a third generation Evanstonian, and when my parents got married, my mom was from Detroit. When she moved to Evanston with my dad, who had grown up here, she found lots of people that she met who had moved back here. And I found exactly the same thing when I came back in the 90s. And I want that to continue. I think that's part of the character of our community, that all of our children have the opportunity to afford to live here.
Now, what would you say are some of the challenges in the 6th ward? Like, there are some wards that really don't have many issues, so that
Mhm.
alderman tends to focus more on the entire city of Evanston.
Right,
Um,
right.
what would you say is going on in the 6th ward that you would like to change, build upon? Alderman Tom Suffredin, he's a good guy. He's a good alderman. So what would you see that you would do different or bring different to the table?
Well, I would say that my personality and character is a little bit different than Tom's. I'm a very outgoing, energetic, enthusiastic person, and I'm really excited about doing the job, which I don't get the sense from him that he's still excited about doing the job. Our biggest challenge right at this moment is supporting our small businesses, especially on Central Street, but all over Evanston, and our minority-owned businesses and our restaurants, which are all suffering from this pandemic. And we need to, as a city council, really delve into what our business owners need in order to survive and thrive once this is over, and how we can support them, because I think the answer is sort of every small business is a little bit different and may need something different that the city is able to provide. So I would say that that's my top priority. I also, as I was talking about affordable housing, I believe that that is just as necessary here in the 6th ward as it is throughout Evanston. As I said, we want our kids to be able to afford to live here, and we want to be able to stay here. And so therefore we need to diversify our housing a little bit. I can't tell you how much less expensive it would have been to move over to Skokie. I looked in the city, and I looked in, Glenview and places like Morton Grove. Money is, it's a given. It's something that we all have to take into account. But I really wanted to find a way to stay in Evanston, and as I said, I had the ability to do that, but not everybody does. And I want to ensure that we are not pushing people out of town.
Now, you said the current alderman, you don't think he's excited. So like, what is he?
I don't think he's his approach to the job, and it's just, I think, a personality thing, but I don't appreciate his sort of brash outbursts at the city council. I don't think that represents who I am or who my ward and neighbors are. I think there have been times that he's been less than helpful in furthering some very important Evanston initiatives, such as reparations. Tom Suffredin is the only council member who voted against reparations. And that's what really pushed me into the race. Reparations are a groundbreaking issue that Evanston has taken on full bore, and I am so proud of the efforts that have been made. And I think that we stand out as a community, as a progressive, forward-thinking community. And I totally support that. And so that's why I got into the race.
Well, one, thank you for supporting reparations. I know many do not support just the idea, the concept of reparations. They feel
I think they
like,
don't understand it.
yeah,
I would like to be an ally and a voice for helping my neighbors understand more about reparations and what that's going to mean for the entire community.
Now, I have spoken to Alderman Suffredin many times, and he's explained why he voted no. So I want to know, like, your thoughts to his reasoning for voting no. So he explained he wasn't voting no to reparations. He was voting no because there was no plan put in place
Right.
for reparations, which has proven to be true. There really wasn't a solid plan in place. So now you have the community, you have many people in the community who are upset with the way reparations is appearing to roll out, because so many families right now are not going to benefit from that first 400,000. So we're not going to really be stepping out strong as the pioneers, because we were all so excited about that and so proud
Right.
of Alderman Simmons for, I mean, she's amazing.
She is, and I hope that she will stay involved. I'm sure that she will.
Yeah. So, but then there was so many other people having input that all of a sudden the vision of reparations and the concept of what reparations is really about, it changed into a housing program that you, me, anybody can get from somewhere.
Right.
So, and so he explained that that's what he was afraid of, was that, so now it's going to be a lot of unhappy people. And instead of us coming out these strong pioneers, he's pretty much like, how strong is it if everybody who gets uh, who gets the benefit of reparations can all fit in one photo?
I have to say, with any kind of change, and if reparations were easy, we would have adopted them years ago. So I am a glass half full person, and I would have voted yes for reparations because I have the faith that we have the brain power and the resources and the willpower within our community to figure it out. And I want us to have that opportunity. I think there are a number of other issues. I think our approach to climate change and environmental issues is very progressive. And if we were all waiting for the perfect plan to come forward, we would be waiting for a very long time. So I am a person who will take the chance, but also step up and say, how can I help? How can I make this program clearer? How can I lift the voices of the people who are affected by this program so that there is community buy-in and ability to educate the folks who, and again, that's a personality trait. You are either a forward-thinking, progressive, willing to take a chance person, or you're somebody who steps back and says, no, wait a minute, we don't have a plan for this. Let's wait until we have a plan. So I think that's a pretty clear choice between Tom and I.
$10 million that's a lot of money
That's a lot of money
to vote yes and have no clue what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that's hearing your stance on reparations. I'm glad that you do support it.
I am a fundraiser by career, and so I honestly believe that there are many ways that we can fund that reparations fund, and I am looking forward to lending my expertise in the fundraising area to finding other and additional sources of funding for that fund. And again, I do have the belief in this community that we're going to be able to expand the program beyond just the housing aspects of it. And so I am really looking forward to digging into that work.
Okay. One more question about reparations and we'll move on. So, you know, nothing is written in stone just yet in terms of the housing program. So
Correct.
people who are concerned that very few people will benefit, very few people will qualify with the banks. So having to qualify for reparations through the bank, which is the
Right.
oppressor in the first place of why we
Right.
dealing it.
The bank should be paying into the reparations fund, I believe.
Yes, yes. And the way it's set up, they're actually going to profit
Because
off of
that's where the money's going to go. Yeah,
off of
I do
Evanston
understand that.
reparations. So, you know, if you're elected alderman and you're on the council and you have to vote on this first 400,000 and how it's being dealt, what would be your vote?
You know, I need to hear from the folks who are affected by this. This is one of the things that I think that we have done right in Evanston with regards to reparations is placing it squarely in the Black community to make the decisions about how this money gets sent. And so I have not been part of the forums of those discussions, but I certainly am interested in hearing what people have to say about how this money should be spent and making sure that it is something that is feeling like repair and not further oppression or misdirected funding. So I will lend an active listening ear to my colleagues who represent those wards that are most affected, and also to the people of those wards.
Okay. That takes us to, I mean, you've brought up affordable housing, which definitely takes us to the city budget.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds like you completely understand that we need affordable housing. So are you on the side of let's use property that's already here and convert those to affordable housing, or keep making development deals
Yeah.
for affordable housing?
One of the challenges that we have faced so far is in sort of the variety of housing stock that we are offering in Evanston as affordable housing. When the developers agree to make so many units of their new developments affordable housing, they're typically one-bedroom studios or one-bedroom or studios, which are not conducive to families having affordable housing. So I think it's a combination of both. And I would be interested in exploring the possibility that more developers pay into a fund that would then help to convert some of the existing housing stock, or building on existing property, the various types of housing. So again, people have choices. Everyone should have choices of how they live and where they live, what neighborhoods they want to live in. And so I think that it's important to tie all of that together into a comprehensive affordable housing plan.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and as far as the city budget, because I've been interviewing and speaking to a lot of people, and they're like, there is money there for affordable housing. So what would be your conversation with City Manager Erica Storley?
Well, it has to be a top priority. I personally was looking for housing that was affordable for me and had a difficult time finding it. So I know how hard it can be for others. My conversation is that and I'm not I'm not at all persuaded that there's a lot of money available in the current budget for affordable housing. So I am interested in finding other streams of revenue for it. I know that developers are interested in Evanston. We are a fabulous community. The developers that have come in and been responsible in Evanston have done a terrific job and brought more property tax into this town. They've brought jobs. They've brought more people living downtown. All of those are very positive things about development. And I think that we can ask them to share their profits, pay into a affordable housing fund in a significant way that helps us to strengthen the housing stock in this town so that we do not lose the character that we are so proud of, the character of our community. So I look forward to exploring other, new streams of revenue for affordable housing.
Well, in talking to Erica Sorley, because you're a fundraiser, that's pretty
Mhm.
much what that's your career is.
That's my mindset, yes.
So what would you tell her some, because being a fundraiser, you have to think outside the box, you have to get creative.
Yeah,
And definitely building relationships so that you have those
that's right.
donors who stay
That's
with
right.
you. So what would be your suggestion to her in watching her that maybe she's not thinking this way, giving her some more ideas, or I don't know, maybe you like the way she's running things right now.
I think people are always open to new ideas. That's our job as city council members, to be the representatives of our neighborhoods and stewards of this community, to bring prosperity and better living to everyone in Evanston. So I see that as part of our jobs. One of my philosophies about fundraising is that it's not about extracting money from people that they don't want to give. It's all about giving people an opportunity to give to something that they really want to give to, that brings them, gives back to them as much as they're giving out. And so the question is, what do developers want from the city that will be attractive to them in order to make them want to do what we want them to do, which is give to an affordable housing fund? Who are the other people interested and going to profit as a result of being a part of Evanston, who would then be willing to give back to Evanston? I take people as having a positive outlook and wanting to be able to give back to the community that they are going to be a part of. And I think we just have to find creative ways to show them how they can give back.
Now, fundraising is truly a gift.
It is.
I know when I've gone for positions and they're like, well, it requires a lot of fundraising. I immediately know, oh, that's not my, that is not my area of expertise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes talent. And you've been doing it for years.
I've been doing it for a long time and I do enjoy it.
What do you enjoy about it? Because it just seems so like, oh my God.
It seems like such a
for money.
So most of my fundraising experience is around political campaigning. I've been a campaign manager and a campaign fundraiser for a long time. But also I've worked for the Y for the last 16 years, the YMCA, and done fundraising for them. And like I said, I see it as an opportunity to give people a chance to give back to something that they love, in ways that they get appreciation for and they feel good about, and ways that help the organization or the candidate that I'm working for. So it's all about your attitude and the way that you look at it. I am not taking food or housing out of the mouths of any of the people that I'm asking for money. I am giving them the opportunity to say, yes, I care about you. I care about this. This is part of my values, and I'm gonna support it with the money that I have. So it's just, I'm giving people an opportunity to feel good.
That's cool. So what made you decide to, well, now I want to be alderman? Has this been a thought for a while for you?
It's so interesting that you asked that. I have to say, I was so shocked and really moved to action in 2016 when Donald Trump was elected. I was one of those progressive people who have sort of been on the edge of politics and public service for a very long time. I absolutely believe in electoral politics. But it moved me to say, what can I do? What can I do to make a difference? This is not the direction that I want my country to go in. This is not the direction. I have to do something. So that's when I really started thinking about it. And there was an organization, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but they've actually been really successful in pulling people into public service locally. And so I went to a seminar that they put on in Chicago and started really thinking about serving on the city council. My stepdad, Jim Moran, was an Evanston city councilman in the 70s. So I will be a second generation Evanston city councilman, which is exciting to me. And I remember when he sat on the council and the active debates that he would bring home to the family. And we'd talk about, you know, all of the different aspects of each of the challenges and decisions that were being made. And that's, I think, sort of where we all gained our interest in public service. So then when I sold my house and ended up moving to Central Street and staying in the 6th Ward, I really started taking a look at the city council and what was going on there, and was not happy with the representation of the 6th Ward. And especially, like I said, that reparations vote really rubbed me the wrong way, and I said to myself, that doesn't represent me. I'm going to step up and make this run. So I started talking to people. That was over 2 years ago that happened. So I started talking to people around town, the people that I've known, and was encouraged to run by all of them. So here I am.
Okay, so we've discussed affordable housing. That's definitely something you seem very passionate about.
I am passionate about it, yeah.
What are some other things in the city that you really want to build?
My entire career has really focused on kids and youth and developing character in kids. I've worked for many years with Camp Echo, which is the residential summer camp that the YMCA owns. And I believe strongly that the city has a role to play in helping to raise our children. I believe in that community construct, that it takes a village to raise our children. And so I will work passionately to ensure that every kid in Evanston has all of the opportunities to grow and thrive in this community. We have so many incredible resources with our not-for-profits, with our for-profit businesses, for our city facilities to help parents and help the schools to raise the kids that are then going to want to stay in Evanston and give back to the community. And I think that's a really positive way to spend time and energy in leading this city.
Now, in regards to environmental issues, I know Alderman Ravel, she was active in that, but I almost felt like the council as a whole, we just didn't see that much passion about it. And as we can see, the environment is like, what the hell is going on?
It is everything. This week, it has been everything.
Yes, across the country, it's been just, weird things happening with the weather. So, I mean, and we have water issues. It's just so much. So I don't even understand. I just feel like we should be far more passionate about it. I know Jonathan Newsma, he's running for 4th Ward. That that's
his thing.
That's his heart. So where do you stand with the environment? Like, what can we do? What do you plan to do if you're elected?
So Evanston is, not surprisingly, incredibly progressive in our sort of climate action plans and our environmental board. We have hundreds of citizens that are volunteering their time on the environment board, Citizens for Greener Evanston. There's an Evanston biking group that are incredibly knowledgeable, incredibly passionate, and that are pushing the city towards some really progressive plans and goals. We have this incredible goal to be carbon neutral by 2050. That is an amazing goal, and yet we are making strides toward reaching that goal every single day, and that excites me. It is so important. This concept of environmental justice is one that has come. There's an environmental justice resolution that is all about the ways in which climate change adversely affects communities of color much more than other communities. And the fact that we are even thinking about that type of disparity in our own community and taking a look and putting together a plan of action for how to deal with that, when the effects of climate change are here right now in the number of incredibly hot days we have in the summer, in these incredibly freezing cold days we've had this last week, and the tons of snow that is falling, the rain events that cause flooding in the homes of many of our residents. So while I think that Evanston is progressive and taking the right steps in the right direction, we're on our 3rd CARP plan because we've met the goals of the first 2 plans. We need to continue to rely on those experts, those volunteers in our community, and now those who have stepped up to lead in this community, to continue emphasizing how important the environment is in all of our lives, and that the city can really make a difference as long as we keep pushing forward. Again, it's the progressive nature of this community that allows us to be out in front on these environmental issues. And I have to say, I remember doing a report on air pollution in the 4th grade that really sort of stirred my personal environmental activism, which is, consisted of being a consistent recycling person and a composter, and I will ride my bike or walk if I possibly can, because that's important to me personally. And I am proud to be, and I will lift up the voices of those in our community who know even more and have the ideas of how to move us forward to ensure that we meet these audacious goals that we set for ourselves with regard to climate change and environment.
Mm. And we're always talking about police reform or defunding the police. Uh, there's so many topics around that, but the part of it that I don't think I hear enough about is actually cleaning out the police department, just cleaning house of the white supremacists. How do you suggest they do that? Because we do have it here in Evanston.
Absolutely, we do.
Definitely. And it's conflict between officers,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
how would you suggest we do just the most thorough background check to see who's associated with what organizations out there? I mean, going as far back as we possibly can in their history. um, Psychological tests. I just feel like there should be some sort of psychological test to determine if someone is a white supremacist, like, because
Yeah,
it's almost something is mentally off there.
I
What
couldn't
are your
agree with
thoughts
you
on that?
more. My immediate solution is that we hire Evanston kids to be Evanston cops. I think that growing up in this community gives you a sense of who we are and what we value, what's important to us, what our expectations for our police are. And so if we can find ways to hire our own, or people that are willing to move to Evanston to be in our community and of our community in order to police our community, that to me is the way that we ensure proper policing, that we ensure the proper mindset. And you're right, even that may not pull out all of the bad people that are policing right now, but there has to be a way to screen for that. And I this is an issue that is facing our nation and that is getting so much positive attention right now, that there's no doubt in my mind that there will be some sort of reckoning, that we will be able to establish and ensure that the people who are patrolling our streets, who we don't want crime in our community. We want people to follow the laws, but we don't need people harassing our children. We do not need people harassing the mentally ill. We do not need people harassing homeless people. We don't need over policing in our communities of color. And we need to stand up and have what our expectations are, what we value as a community, set forward to our police department and hold them accountable to that. And that starts right here at home. It starts with allowing our kids a pipeline into becoming police officers.
Mm. Now, the current council that we have, like you said, you have not been happy with the current council.
Yeah.
You have some aldermen up there I absolutely adore, and then there are some up there I'm like, you are so out of touch and so money hungry.
That's what elections are for. That's why this is so exciting. Yeah.
So how do you intend, if you're elected alderman, if some of those out of touch councilmen continue, um, they're reelected, how do you intend to get these wonderful ideas that you have, because it sounds like utopia, right? How will you get them to change their ways, their way of thinking, their way of seeing Evanston? How do you intend to?
That's a really good question. I am a people person. I am able to find common ground just about everywhere I go. I find my personal ability to build relationships is what has made me successful in my career. And I want to bring those people skills to the city council because I do think that sadly they have been visibly lacking, especially the last several years. I take people as coming from a place that they want to do good and positive things. No one is sitting on that city council to be mean or obstreperous. They're all there because they want to do good for the people of their neighborhood and for the city as a whole. And so we would start from there and build some bridges. And I think I can lead by example. That's my leadership philosophy in my work and in my child rearing and in my family. But finding that common ground, listening, really listening when people are talking and explaining where they're coming from, and finding a place that we can meet and agree, and then move on from there to find the solutions to our challenges. I believe that that is the key to any group of, diverse views, which you will find in Evanston on every single issue, not just on the city council. I have a good friend who says if you have 100 people in Evanston talking about an issue, you will have 105 ideas of what that issue is all about.
Yes. Well, I mean, it appears that there are some councilmen who they are just stuck in their way. There is no common ground. So it's the councilmen who are for the people, and then you have the councilmen who are for just a certain group of people.
Right. And I think finding out what it is that they're there for, what is it that they hope to accomplish, and starting from there, starting from people's aspirations is where you can find the common ground. Because as I say, no one steps into a city council job to do evil. Nobody does.
You don't think so, Katie? I think that there are some people who want that power. They're not for the people. They want the power of it. And then there are those who are really about the people. They really want to help the people. They want to bring positive change. They want to uplift. And then you have some political figures who are about the power, and if they can make a few bucks possibly under the table. So,
yes, but will they admit that that's why they're there? They will tell you that they're there for the good of the people, and then you grab that and say, here's something that's going to make your neighborhood better. Here's a way around this. And you have to call them on it. If you see them taking a position that appears to be purely for the power, I have no problem calling people on that and saying, are you really thinking about the people that you're representing, the community as a whole?
Do you think
and I think that's
been some of the blow-ups on the council, like Alderman Suffredin and Randy, because he was calling her out?
Yeah, I think there are ways to call people out in a nicer way than Alderman Suffredin has shown. And I think that I have the temperament and the ability to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been nice talking to you, Katie.
It's great to talk to you too. Thank you so much for doing this. This is such an important forum. I watch you all the time. I think you do a great job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for your service in the community, whether you get elected or not. Your service with the Y, and I've learned about fundraising from you. You have me thinking of it in a different way now than before. Before I looked at it as, oh God, fundraising.
Oh, I'm thinking, I know.
But now I see it more, it's investing in something that you love and you really care about. And
and you're never taking someone's last dollar, that is for sure.
Mhm. Well, thank you for that. I
You
learned
are welcome.
something here today. Thank you.
Awesome.
And
Thank you so much.
please let people know where they can contact you if they have further
Sure.
questions.
So my website is Trippi, Trippi, for Evanston.com, and you'll be able to reach me through there. My email is kttmedia@gmail.com. Don't hesitate to get in touch with me.
All right. Thank you so much, Katie.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
In Malika, Evanston Live TV. That was Katie Tucker Trippi. She's running for sixth Ward Alderman. Why can't I say that word? Sixth Ward Alderman, Katie Tucker Trippi. And I'll be sure to put her contact information, how you can reach her, support her if you have any other questions. I'll put it in the description of this post. And you all please stay tuned. Primary voting is February 23rd. So you have until now, and then people stay engaged, learn as much about these candidates as you possibly can. I don't want to hear any complaints if you did not get involved. So stay tuned here at Evanston Live TV. We have more amazing candidates, more amazing people in Evanston doing awesome things. Stay tuned right here.